Hello everybody, welcome to Talk About a House. I'm Todd.
I'm Juana.
Okay, today we're going to talk about the very exciting new home building.
Okay, so you guys need to show me some love because I have been wanting to do this video for like a couple months. I've been kind of talking about it and we haven't had a chance to do it. So please show me some support that this is a video that you guys are interested in. Please like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, give me some comments supporting my interest in data.
We are going to surprise you with some numbers about building new homes. So this is very interesting. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with this chart. I'm going to show you this crazy thing.
Right, so I saw this and I got so excited because I finally understood how builders come up with the price of a home. So this thing goes basically line item by line item. Don't worry about squinting. We're going to go through it section by section, but I just wanted to show you the whole thing so you can kind of get a little bit of an idea how detailed and what the cost breakdown is and how they arrive at that list price for the home on brand new construction.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start here. We're just going to go right off the bat with, this is total cost of constructing a home. So what they did was they polled a bunch of new home builders. Now this data comes from the National Association of Home Builders. And they are the ones who are in charge of, they have an index for new home building. They know like of how it's going and all that, you know, how many people are coming through and they calculate stuff. What they did is they went to all their members and said, hey, go look at some of your last bunch of homes and tell us how much your costs were, how much profit you made, and because we want this data to sort. And they looked at everyone across the country, and then they put together this thing.
Right.
So we'll start with the first part. Okay. Now site work. Now a lot of this is pretty boring. Building and permit fees, but 2.1% of construction costs are just permit fees. And where does that money go? Who gets that? Do I get that?
The government. Because we love the government, don't we all?
We love them.
Yes, we love them. So we pay them. We pay them a lot of money. So,
and they do some good stuff, like 3 things.
Like 3 things?
3 things. Maybe 2 things. 2 or 3 things.
Not the potholes, because Arnold Schwarzenegger fixed the pothole.
No, they don't do potholes. Okay, that's not in their contract. All right, so let's go through these things. Water and sewer inspection fees, impact fee. What's an impact fee? Is that like if a meteor hits the site, and then they say, there was an impact, we'll charge you a fee for that?
Okay, so the impact fees are, I think they're a junk fee.
They are junk fees. That's exactly what I was going to say.
I can tell you what they would say, but it's boring. At the end of the day, it's a junk fee. Okay,
architecture, engineering.
Right.
And then other. There's always other. And that's 5%. Okay, this is ground. This is, the grand total is about 30 grand. And you haven't built anything at this point. Right? So you're out 30 grand. Okay, foundations is the next part. Excavation, foundation, concrete, retaining walls, and backfill. $43,000. Also, there's an other in here. $33.55 of other.
Right. So remember, this is going across the country. So, of course, some places we have, like Las Vegas, where we build on slab. Some places we have crawl spaces, like we do in Reno. Some places we have maybe basements. So this is kind of looking at the whole country, so you have to kind of bear with us. And this just is giving you an idea of some of the costs and fees involved. But I think it's interesting, and so please stick with me and let's go through this.
Okay, this is the number 3, framing. Framing is $60,000. That's quite a bit. Of course, it's wood. Now, this cost is highly, as we have seen pretty recently, like last year, this got homes to be very expensive because price of lumber went up, right? Trusses, if not included in above. Now, a lot of times those are pre-made.
Right.
And they buy them.
Right. So trusses almost always are pre-made somewhere else and they just get shipped. Because remember, the builders, particularly in tract homes, they try to prefabricate as much as possible because what they would like to do is just kind of assemble rather than build anything on site, because obviously there's economies of scale by having stuff prefabricated somewhere else.
And side note, we're actually investors in a startup that we won't say the name of, but they literally build like apartments or multi-unit things by literally building the thing in a factory and then taking it and like stacking them and then put a finish on the outside and you wouldn't know that it wasn't built on site. They build them off site.
Right.
Very exciting. So that is a kind of a thing that's done. It's a cost savings potentially, right? Build them in because you can have workers doing repetitive tasks and you can crank them out fast, sort of factory
Right.
building.
Plus, also it helps with the cost of labor because we don't always have labor at that particular location. So it helps a builder because then somebody else at a factory has the labor to do these things rather than trying to have the labor on site. Here in Las Vegas, we have a lot of subcontracting work. So what I mean by that is you'll have an electrician and he will work on one subdivision on Tuesday, a different subdivision on Wednesday, a different subdivision on Thursday, and so on. And they may not even be for the same builder. So it's a way to really deal with the shortage of labor.
And maybe he just puts in toilets. He just shows up and he like in an hour he puts in 3 toilets and he leaves.
The electrician doesn't do it, but the plumber does.
Right. Somebody puts it in. Somebody puts it in. Okay. And then so there's some more other in here. So 80 grand for basically what I would call framing. Very interesting. Okay. Exterior finishes. This is important. Exterior wall finish. This could be stucco. It could be siding, right? It depends on where you live. It could be the brick, and depending on what markets. So a lot of times they still will they'll frame it, but then they put brick on the outside for insulation or for aesthetics, right? Windows and doors, including garage door, 13,000. Roofing, about 12 grand, which is odd because it usually costs more than this to have your roof redone.
Right, but remember, again, it's economies of scale because they're getting the roofing material in bulk for all their houses and that sort of thing. So that's an important thing. While we're going through this, I want you in the comments to put in what you think this house will sell for, because if you missed it at the beginning of the big slide, that actually told you what the house is going to sell for, but we'll talk about it again at the end.
Yeah. Okay. The next one, major system rough-ins. Okay. So this is electrical. This includes the panel, the sub-panels if you have sub-panels in the house, and then all the wiring and everything that has to be done, all the outlets and all that, plumbing, HVAC, which is, what's HVAC stand for?
That's a good question. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning.
That's it. HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. So it's most of the cost of this are the units. The cost to put all the conduits in is actually pretty cheap. I've actually done almost everything on this list. I've done a lot of stuff in the past, although I was never a home builder. I had a personal project where I had a house that I completely finished the basement, a 1,000 square foot basement with a living area, a bathroom, a bedroom, and I did a lot of other stuff. I put in all the electrical and the
okay. And this was before YouTube, so he couldn't just...
I would have documented the whole damn thing on YouTube, and I would have forced all of you to watch it. This was definitely before YouTube.
Yes.
But it was not before the internet. So, okay. And some more other. I'm just going to show up at the new home builders and say, hey, I need a check. And guess who are you? I'm going to say other. I'm other. How many homes have you built? Add up all the others and just give it to me. That's going to be my next startup.
I like it. Okay. I like it. Move on.
Okay. Ground total 70,000 just for systems and stuff. Okay. This is the stuff that people actually care about. As you can see here, cabinets, countertops, right? Now remember, these are averages. So luxury home maybe is going to be a lot more. Tract home, super simple, it's going to be less. Okay, drywall flooring, trims, doors, mirrors, paints, insulation, appliances, plumbing fixtures, lighting, fireplace, other, and then grand total almost 100 grand. That's quite a bit, right?
Right. So these are, if you will, the types of things that maybe you will do if you're renovating a house. So this kind of gives you an idea of what a renovation project might cost as well. Okay,
landscaping about 9 grand. Driveway, 8,000. That's a lot. Hopefully it's a nice driveway, pavers or something. Cleanup, outdoor structures, deck, patio, porches, some more other, and then 23 grand for the outdoor. Obviously, this does not include a pool, which usually the pool. This all comes afterwards because a lot of times the lending doesn't want to also loan on the pool. Like they want that separate. They want you to deal with that afterwards, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. So those are all the costs. Now we have to guess. Well, and those are the costs that don't include commissions, advertising, right?
Right.
But what do you think a house like that we've showed you? This is an average house. So what do you think the price is on this average house, all you people? Do you have any guess? Anybody? I want you guess for them.
So I don't remember the exact amount, but I remember that it was somewhere in the realm of about 600 and change.
644, 750. Okay, so if they built the house for 644, 750 based on all the numbers you saw, what do you think the profit was?
Well, can you tell them how much the land cost first?
The land,
Mm-hmm.
I can tell how much the land cost. The finished lot cost, including financing, was $114,000.
Okay, so remember, the house is going to cost you 740 and change. The lot alone cost the builder over $100,000.
And they have to actually buy the land.
Right.
And they buy the land raw. What does raw mean?
So that means that they buy the land, and if you're here in southern Nevada, the land is going to come with some sagebrush. It's going to come with some weeds, maybe a couple desert tortoises,
Lizards,
some lizards,
scorpions.
some scorpions, maybe a couple bunnies.
You get those free.
Yes.
No extra cost.
There you go. So that's how the land comes. Now the builder's going to have to. They're going to have to grade the land, so they're going to have to clear the land of everything. They're going to have to grade it. They're going to have surveyors out there and all that good stuff. They're going to have to bring services out there. So that means they're going to have to bring sewer and power and water out there. They're going to have to do all these things, and that's not included in that over $100,000 that they paid for the lot. And remember, they're not just buying your lot, they're buying a whole bunch of lots. And then there's, of course, the cost of financing, because they're not going to just shell out the money. They're going to have to finance this. So it costs a lot of money before they ever do anything that is meaningful to the home buyer.
Okay. Now, some other stats in here that are included in here. Now, this is for the whole U.S. So if you're in Vegas, don't go, what? Those numbers, or if you're in SoCal, okay? Okay. The average finished house nationally was 2,500 square feet. Okay, that is well above the median average sized house in the U.S. It's a bigger house than average. Okay, and we said it was $644,000 to build. So obviously, median home prices in the U.S. right now are like $400,000. So this is a higher than average priced home. Okay, this is not your starter home for the most part, right? The other interesting thing was the average lot size. Now, remember, we're talking about the whole country. This is 17,000 square feet lot size. So that's almost half an acre. It's about 0.4 acres. Now, in Vegas, you're not going to see this. If you see 17,000 square feet, it's a multi-million-dollar house.
Well,
we don't have,
it's
probably.
Yeah, so if it's a 17,000 square foot lot in Vegas, very likely it's approaching $1 million minimum.
Yeah, basically. Okay. Now, obviously, if you're in more rural areas or areas where more land is accessible, and they put homes on. It's very common to have homes on half-acre lots,
right?
Which is very common. Okay, now, so the next thing is the profit.
Right.
So they build a $644,000 house. How much profit do you think they make? Is a percentage of the total or in total dollars?
As a percentage of the total, I'm going to say they make 10%.
You're close.
Ooh, I'm close.
10.1%.
Yes.
So did you know that or just guessed?
I looked at this chart a couple of months ago and I got all excited.
Yeah. You probably went right to profit. You're probably like, okay, should we start building homes? Is this profitable? How much money am I going to make? Like all of a sudden you were all Romanian. Okay, I see money. I can make a profit here. How much money can I make building houses?
Yes. No, so I looked at it, like I said, a couple months ago, but I haven't looked at it recently.
Okay, so it's a 10%. It was like 65 grand on a home. And then the interesting thing, my favorite one is sales commissions, $23,000 in sales commissions, because that's what, and then marketing costs was another $4,000. So, there are costs. Here's an interesting one I want to talk about: financing cost. Why is the builder pay it? This is not a cost for the buyer's loan, the buyer who buys the house. What financing cost does the builder pay? Because it's 12 grand per house.
Right. So most likely the financing cost is for the land and a portion of the construction money.
Okay, so the builder is not just sitting on a ton of money, and he goes out and buys. He doesn't just like whip out his wallet and go, "How much is land?" and starts counting hundreds.
No. So if we've talked about this before. Most builders Let's say that a builder builds a community in 3 stages. The first stage pays for the land, the second stage pays for the improvements, and the third stage is their profit.
Sort of.
Yeah.
It's 10% the
Right.
average. They probably, but the idea still is, if you build, if you build a 100-house subdivision, and let's say these median houses here, like 17,000 square foot lot, 2,500 square feet. So you build 100 houses, and your profit is 65,000. Then your profit is going to be 6.5 million, which isn't bad.
But it's 6.5 million on 100 houses, and that's a lot of risk. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of work, and it's a lot of time.
Yeah, and you may not make money. I mean,
Right.
got to pay all your people. This is paying everybody. This is all your costs. And this may be KB Homes, right? This could be a national builder who has they build homes. I don't know if you guys are all aware of this, but the home builders almost always are profitable, except for the housing crash. Even 2022, when famously in the fourth quarter, KB Homes, like 30-something% of their homes fell out of contract. Guess what? They all went back into contract. They end up selling them all. Only about a third of all new homes built in 2022 had any price reductions on them. People were like, oh my gosh, the builders were tanking their prices. They weren't. Guess what? New home builders, every one of them was profitable in 2022.
Right. And the other thing to keep in mind, this does not count the lot premiums. It doesn't count the upgrades. It doesn't count the fact that the home builder has a relationship with the lender and makes money off that. It doesn't count the fact that the home builder may have a relationship with the title company and make money off that. So those are all ancillary revenue sources for them that are not counted in this. So before you have an inordinate amount of empathy for the builders, keep in mind that they have other revenue streams that are that go along with their home building endeavor.
Right. And one of the things about lot premium, it's designed so that like someone doesn't just pick the best lots and leave the other ones. They try to have a financial sentiment saying, okay, you're in the middle of the subdivision on a street. There's basically maybe no lot premium, but all of a sudden there's just one cul-de-sac, and the way they had to make the lots are all 5,000 square feet bigger. Right. So people have bigger lots, and then because it's wider on the back, you don't really have you're not looking at a bunch of other houses maybe. So they say, hey, those lots if you pay 15,000 more if you want that lot.
Right. So you can have. So you'll pay a lot premium based on size, based on location, based on view, based on whatever. So in Vegas, the lot premiums are anything from a few $1,000s to several $100,000. And that's not unusual. It's not unusual to have the lot premium be 15%, 20% of the purchase price of the house. It is not unusual. So particularly once you get into Summerlin or into some of the more desirable and luxurious communities, that's pretty common.
My parents in 1993 bought a house in Sun City, Summerlin, not on the golf course. There's 3 full golf courses in Sun City. And they're just on a regular street. They have a 7,000 square foot lot. They just bought a regular 1,400 square foot 2-bedroom tract home. It was very nice. And it was 2-something or 1-something. It was like 170 or 210, or it was somewhere in there. It was around 200,000. The house across the street that was also on a 7,000 square foot lot that just happened to also have, because it's going downhill there, they have a fairway behind them. So the houses behind them are on the other side of the fairway. It's pretty far away. And they actually have a view of the city. It's pretty nice. Even though and the homes are a little nicer. But the lot premium on those homes was $80,000. $80,000.
And that was 40 years ago.
Yeah, this was in the 90s. And I remember when they built my parents.
It was in the 80s, but yeah.
No, they bought their house in 93.
Okay, so 30 years ago.
But because Summerlin didn't even exist really until like 88.
Okay.
So Sun City was built, like I said, the early 90s. But the whole point is, my parents used to, standing in front of their house, because the houses across the street weren't built yet. They weren't selling those lots. You could literally see the whole city from the front of their house because the golf course was there. There was just a dirt lot in between them and the golf course, and it was great. And then, of course, they built the houses across the street. and they were expensive houses, and they're still to this day. I don't know if they get 80,000 more, but the houses across the street became like these 2,000 and 3,000 square foot houses that were much nicer because the people were paying more for the lot. And they built really nice homes on it. But that's you. So you do get what you pay for. And anyway, we just wanted to sort of show you what what the cost breakdown was.
Well, and what goes into pricing a home, how a home builder looks at the numbers and how they price things and why houses cost what they cost. I thought that was interesting. Please hit the notification bell. Please subscribe. Please like the video. Leave us comments. We welcome comments. And if you have ideas for other videos, we would love to hear your ideas and engage with you in the comments. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.